Welcome to the vast expanse of the galaxy. Today we're diving into the timeless universe of Elite Dangerous in 2024, exploring why this space simulation game continues to capture the hearts of explorers, traders, and fighters alike. From the awe-inspiring scale of its open-world galaxy to the depths of its gameplay mechanics, Elite Dangerous offers an unparalleled space adventure that's both immersive and ever-evolving. Whether you're piloting your ship through the silent void, trading goods across star systems, or engaging in epic space battles, this game promises a unique journey for every player. I'm Andrew for ABELI Reviews. Join us as we chart why Elite Dangerous remains a must-play 2024. Whew, what an introduction. Well, first of all, thank you for stopping by. Let me do a little bit of level setting. So Elite Dangerous is an online spaceflight simulation game. It was developed and published by Frontier Developments. Essentially, you are in command of a player and a spaceship, and you can have the ability to explore a one-to-one realistic sort of open-world scale of our Milky Way galaxy. And the gameplay is very open-ended. You can do whatever you want, and that's both a very good thing, and it can also be very daunting. But essentially it is a massively multiplayer online experience. You do have the ability to play entirely by yourself and never see another person, or you can choose to play with just a small group of friends, or you can be open to the wide world. There is no subscription, so that's always a very good thing. And you're basically free to kind of tell your own narrative story in this sort of persistent universe, which I think is really cool. For reference, it's kind of like a sequel to a game called Frontier First Encounters that was released in 1995. So I never played that, but if you're a fan of any sort of space movie, space media, any other flying space games, I think you should definitely check out Elite Dangerous. It's a fantastic experience, and it really is kind of in a league all of its own. Now, there are other games that sort of represent that as well, right? Like No Man's Sky, which is all procedurally generated. So in this specific kind of instance, you can go visit Earth. You can't land on it, but you can go visit Earth. You can go see the moon. You can go see Mars. You can see stuff in our galactic space. And then you have stuff like Star Citizen, which is also sort of meant to be that open world experience. I would say Elite kind of is its own thing, and each of those things are their own thing. If you like those, you may like one or the other. There's probably a good Venn diagram somewhere. But enough about that. I'm kind of in this like fun third-person camera mode, just sort of looking out. Let's switch into first person. Now I'm in my character, and let's kind of give you a little brief overview of what you're seeing here. So I'm at a specific space station, and there's going to be all these NPCs and other player characters that are going to be wandering around, offering me missions and all kinds of stuff. So you can essentially go up and talk to all of these people. You have the ability to go buy supplies like weapons, and you can see on the back wall here for your character, space suits, and you can customize those things to your liking and all kinds of cool stuff along those lines. You can also get into sort of transporting stuff and even like astrobiology, and as you start to uncover different species and things, you can sell that information. You can travel the stars. You can do pretty much whatever you would like in this game. They sell spaceships. You can join the front lines, so you can go fight in on-foot wars. You can also fight in space battles. So there's quite a lot to be done here, and this is just me at this one station. There are thousands of other stations, but what's really important, what you care about, is space, right? So you want to check that out. So let's go ahead and head down. We're going to send ourselves down to our particular spaceship. I'm going to head to it now. I'll take the elevator, and this is sort of the starting ship. What you're going to see here is called the Sidewinder, and it very much is the starting ship. It's not terribly large, but it is very versatile. You can essentially get a little bit of taste of everything with this spaceship, and then you can kind of choose to buy other spaceships that are very specialized and far larger. But this is mine. It's a little Sidewinder. I call it Dagger because it's kind of small. I'm going to give you context for size compared to my character's size here. So we're going to zoom out a little bit. We'll go up. You can see sort of the scale of this ship with my ship. So that already kind of sets the tone that we're starting to get into some bigger sizes. So let's go ahead and hop in our ship here. We're going to end up in that sort of first person cockpit mode, right? So now I'm in my ship. I can look around it. I can sort of see all the different pieces, all of the fun displays, the heads up displays or the HUD that lets me sort of control my ship. We won't spend too much time on that. We do have many, many videos on this channel that do discuss how to do many things. What this video is, it's kind of talk to you a little about what you can do in Elite Dangerous and why you might think this is something worth investing your time and resources in. So what I just showed you is sort of that starter ship. And as I referenced, you have the ability to do many things. And when I say that, you can get into mining, you can get into player transportation, you get into combat, bounty hunting, many things. What I just did here is sort of opening up like this specific system that I'm at, this station. They have like a mission board. Think of that as like the big bulletin board in your city's, like, you know, home council or whatever you'd like. If I go to the missions, I can see there's quite a few things that I can do that just sort of pay me money. Now, you can do all of these things just as yourself. You don't need to involve other things. This is just stuff if you wanted to take on missions. So I can go into combat missions that certain factions, NPC factions, have sort of set out and said, hey, I want you to go attack this guy or go take down this, and all the kinds of stuff inside there. Transportation. That's right. You can be a long-haul trucker in this. You can be somebody that brings in vital resources to a station or a system or planet that needs them. You could be a trader and make the best margins and all those fun things. You can do freelance work, which the skull probably gives you a hint. That's probably some shooting. Operations, ground-based attacks, support. You can literally just support different people, donate money to credits for the cause. And then Thargoid. So Thargoids are this new alien race that has been sort of emerging in our galaxy, and we're at war with them. So that's another sort of aspect to the game. There's many factions. So just to kind of give you a reference from these things, we go into combat. I can assassinate a known pirate. Certain factions maybe want to fight another faction. Spec ops missions, and all of these pay credits. And credits are essentially how you make and purchase and do things in this game. So there's a lot you can take advantage of here. From there, you can also go to the commodities market. This is literally commodities. Like in this station, this is what they are selling certain things for. And that's because their system, you know, is set up to either mine or extract or be a great resource for these types of things. You can then look what they produce. There's all kinds of details. It's its own mini game, essentially. And then you can sell commodities here as well. So they will pay top dollar for X, Y, and Z, or low dollar, depending on what they have. And then you can take this information and compare it against other systems and other stations all over the place. And we'll get to that scale in a second. I realize I probably dove right in. But I did want to reference, you can do whatever you want. On that note, though, let's talk a little bit about just this galaxy. I referenced it's a one-to-one representation of the Milky Way galaxy. We're going to open that map now. And I'm not kidding. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You're going to get an idea of the scope of this game. This is the Milky Way galaxy. This is our Milky Way galaxy. Everything here exists, or at least to a certain extent, in our galaxy as well. So if we go up here to the top, and you want to go to Earth, it's called Sol in our system, but like, so that's our solar system. We're going to zoom into it. Boom. That is our solar system. Now I can go and look at their system map. What essentially that means is I can see their solar system map. So now I can see the sun, I can see Mercury, Venus, Earth, and I'm just sort of looking at these things from like a map, just like you and I would if we were going to plan a trip in Google Maps or Apple Maps or some other service. These are all the different pieces, and I can go visit these. Essentially, this is just saying, hey, do you want to sort of scope out this place ahead of time and all of the fun pieces that come with it. It's incredible. It's just mind-blowing. So let's say I wanted to go there. So I'm at this particular system right now, and I wanted to go to Sol. We put that in before. I'm actually not that far away. And if we plot our course, we can sort of see here, there's some dotted lines. That's telling me I'm going to run out, but it essentially means I'm 5 jumps, 5 ship flights away. And what you do in this game is you essentially jump from star to star. I know this map is a lot. Do not let it overwhelm you. This is just showing me all the other stars that are nearby. And that's why the whole scale is just mind-boggling. Let's zoom out a little bit and pick somewhere else. So we're in our Milky Way galaxy. Let's just zoom into the galactic core. Now we're going to go into this space. All of these are systems star systems you can visit, you can get to. Now, it may take you a while because this is a one-to-one representation of our galaxy. And they try to sort of use like witch space, and they try to say, yep, you have a jump drive and all that fun stuff, but it still takes real-world time to actually get here. And that's incredible. There is so much of this space that hasn't been explored. I want to say I saw like a stat at one point that like this game is so big that like the player population, all the people that play it that have done massive missions, and it feels like they've been all over the place, haven't even discovered like 5%. They haven't even gone to 5% of the entire galaxy. Like it's crazy. I want to say it's like less than 1. But it's just incredible, the sheer scale and size of this game, which I think is just fantastic. It's really awesome. So we've touched on that a little bit, but I did sort of want to reference spaceships, and there are many of them. So if we go to this shipyard, and they're sold all over the place. I don't want to make it seem like this one system has everything. Think of it just like any other town or city or state you live in. Some cities and states sell stuff that other ones do not. Some retail environments sell and specialize in certain things. That's the same way for this game, and you start to learn that, and that's how you buy different things. But if we go to this shipyard, we can look at available ships to purchase. Not with real-world dollars, although they've started to kind of entrance into that. It's not as like scammy as you might think. What it really is like they allow you to buy pretty much every ship with in-game credits, and those have to be earned. You can't just buy them. But they, in order to kind of like sort of make this game become successful in 2024 and 2025, what they've done is kind of like an early access program. So if you'd like to have access to a ship that they just designed, you can pay real world dollars for it and you'll get it. But if you can just wait a couple weeks, you'll be able to have the option to buy it with normal credits. So that's really nice. I think that's awesome. But anyways, as we were discussing, here's the Sidewinder. That's the ship I just showed you. It's the starting ship. It's what you're always going to get when you begin this game. And then you start to build up from there. You get into the Eagle, which is like a little single fighter pilot style thing. A hauler. So now you can start to see, okay, maybe I want to really get into transportation. The Adder, which is kind of like a big minivan. That's really cool. It reminds me of the Futurama spaceship. Then you get into like the Imperial Eagle, which is another fighter. And they all have their own lore and their rich history in this game. Viper, like all these really cool spaceships that can do multi-roles of things, and they can design for certain landing pads, and they can fight. They have fighter bays, they have multi-crew, all this kind of stuff, and the ships just keep going up in price, and they go up in what they can do. So now you get to like explorer type ships, transportation type ships, ones that are literally just like big beautiful buses that take people from one spot to the other. You can really do whatever you want, and there's probably a ship for you based on what it is you want to do. I just kind of want to reference these because I don't want you to feel locked in. This is a game that doesn't provide customization. It has so much customization, even from the colors and the paints and the kits you can put on these individual ships. Really starts to grow and change it, which I think is fantastic. We'll kind of rip through some of these as we go, but you can start to see like now we're looking at like military hardware. Troop transporters or transportation ships with all kinds of guns. The Alliance Chieftain here, which is like a big sort of well-armed fighting machine. The Federal assault ship. So now you're starting to get into even character style, like different, not different characters, sorry, different factions. Essentially there are different factions in this game, and each one of them has their own ship type. You start to look at that, like the Alliance, the Federation, all these different groups, and they're all here vying for power in the galaxy. And you can join them, you can fight with them, you can then switch sides, all kinds of cool stuff. There's just really, really a lot you can do in this game, and I think it's really cool that it allows you to kind of tell your own story and play this game how you want to play. So I've kind of showed you a lot of ships. It really just keeps going and going and going and going and going. They start to get just absolutely massive. So this Anaconda, for instance, once it loads in, on my screen, they all kind of just look like they fit on the screen here. But let's sort of give you an example. So I own one of those. So we're going to go ahead and switch to our Anaconda. So you saw the size of the Sidewinder. We now are going to look at the size of the Anaconda. And I think this really should put it in perspective just how big the ship really is. So I'm going to start zooming out. And you can see my character's kind of under in the belly of the ship. and it's literally all around us. Let's keep going out. We'll keep going and keep going and keep going, and it really does start to put into scope the sheer scale of this game. I always just can't kind of get blown away by the sheer size, and what you can do with these massive ships. So you can already see this thing is huge, and I use it specifically for like war and fighting, and it's awesome because I bring my friends in. My friends man the turrets, and they actually use the onboard ships. You can have little ships inside your ships. I'm sure you've all seen super yachts, right? Where they have like another boat inside it. Imagine that's what this is. You can have little ships inside this that people can fly, and then you can have people on your guns while you're commanding the ship itself. It's awesome. It's super cool. So let's go ahead and get back onto our ship. And that's the other thing, right? This is a multiplayer game. You can have people join you. We can even sort of change some of these camera views. You can see I have other seats to the right and left of my character. We have this massive bridge, these different spots where people can sit in, and they control different parts of the ship. So there's a lot you can do here. And that's what really makes this, I think, super cool. But when you're playing by yourself, maybe you don't want a really big ship. Maybe instead you want something more simple, like the crate, MK2 or Mark II. And again, for reference, here's the crate. It's kind of a larger ship, but it's also a nice fighter. It kind of does a lot of multi-role stuff. Again, I'm saying names that probably don't matter too much to you, but it's important to kind of reference that. You can do a lot here. So let's go ahead and get out, and let's start looking at the wide space. I've spent a lot of times indoors, right? You keep saying, Andrew, this is sort of boring. All you're showing me is ships. Is this just come look at my garage and that's the end of this discussion? Absolutely not. There's a big wide galaxy out there, and we're gonna head out. So here we go. We're actually in our auto launch sequence. We're gonna go ahead and send ourselves out the mailbox slot, if you will, and we're gonna go out into the wide galaxy. And here we go now. Now we are leaving the sort of station we were just in, and I'm going to switch camera views so you can kind of see that as well. If I start to zoom out a little bit, you can see the sheer scale of what I was just inside. And that was this station here. Here's my ship in the darkness of space, and that's the station we're leaving. Now, ooh, look at that guy. He's doing his thing. Okay, anyways. Let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. So now we are out in sort of our local space here. Let's go out and let's navigate somewhere. Let's just make a jump so you can see what that's like. I'm going to pick a space. And what's always important is you will eventually say, oh, why do I want to go here? What do I want to do there? There'll be missions and things you can take advantage of. For our perspective, we're doing this just to have a little bit of fun. So we're going to do a single jump. I'm going to go ahead and fly my ship very quickly to that location. What we're going to do is we're going to put ourselves in line where that star actually is in the star map, so we can see it straight over there. And we are going to jump to that location. And this is what's so cool. So we're going to charge our jump drive. We're getting ourselves ready. We're getting ready to do that massive boost. And here we go. 3, 2, I guess they're going to do a countdown. That's silly. And now we are jumping between stars at a faster, or just about as fast as you possibly can to kind of make the game so move quickly, blah, 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 all that good stuff. You can look it up. And then, boom, we're going to land at this star. Super cool. So now we are in this part of this system. We now entered a new system. We're no longer where we were. Then we can look for things to do here. And certain systems have all kinds of stuff. These other fleet carriers. You can own your own fleet carrier, which is a massive thing. What I always like to do is see if there's any sort of unidentified signal sources or if there's any fighting going on. All of that good stuff. But what's also really fun is to see somebody else's fleet carrier. Now, a fleet carrier is kind of like, I own these little ships. You can own your own station. Let's go ahead and line ourselves up with that. Let's go check that out. We're heading to the Barracuda, which I think is a cool name for a ship anyway, so that's super awesome. we're heading there now. We're just flying through space. And let's kind of switch view. You can see we're going, I don't know why the engines aren't looking that way, but that's fine. We're in the middle of actually flying away. It doesn't look like, because the sheer scale of all these things are so big. But if we wait long enough, you would see eventually the sun would be further and further away. All that good stuff. Then we're going to drop out of space into this Barracuda's sort of location here, which I think is really neat. And as we get a little bit closer, we'll actually drop out ourselves. We're actually using a flight computer to help us, so that way I can just talk to all you fine people. We can get to this station here. We can see if they're friendly, and they'll let us actually join them.
Careful, pilots. Watch your speed up there.
All right, let's see if they'll let us request docking.
Access granted.
Heck yeah, they said we could, so let's go ahead and head to them. I'm going to switch to the camera view again. So I think it's so cool to let you see just the sheer scale of these types of things. And then what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time on this station, and then we're going to go look for some combat. I'm going to give you a taste of what the combat in this game is like. Now keep in mind, again, we have many videos on this channel that do cover, like, what does transportation of people look like? What does trading look like? We've even got plenty of introduction pieces. But I just kind of wanted to give you a brief taste of just what you can do here, and kind of the let's call this the oh goodness, the real fast version, right? There's so much more, and I'm glossing over so many of fantastic details. What we're looking for is a landing pad, so we can land here, and then we're going to spend a little bit of time at this station. So let's go into this carrier's hangar, and like I said, we're going to spend a little bit of time in this station here, of this fleet carrier, and we're going to go look for some combat, and then we'll end on landing on a planet, do a little fun exploring on a planet. That way you can get kind of a nice kind of overview of all the cool stuff you can do here. So we're waiting for a spot to open up in the carrier, so let's go ahead and disembark. And now I'm in the carrier's hangar, and some of these hangars all look very similar, some do not. It really depends on sort of the quality, what the people have spent money on at their various stations, and then the carriers all kind of have a similar structure. Let's go ahead and go up. While we're sort of doing this, I'm just going to sort of spout out other things to you that you can sort of learn about and see. If you break the law in this game, you will have bounties on you. You can go to jail, all that good stuff. And you can see those things on our channel as well if you're curious what those are like. There is an absurd amount of stuff you can do here. And now we're sort of just looking around at the command deck of this carrier. We won't be able to go in. They've got guards here that restricts access, but I can go to sort of observation deck. This is really cool. And if you ever want to see one of these types of ships take off and travel through space, it is a wonder to behold. We've got that on the channel as well, so check that out. But now I can be here and I can meet with other commanders that are in the area. We are in solo mode right now, so all of the stuff that exists in multiplayer exists for us. But what's nice is it does allow us to not have to worry about like getting in fights or hearing other people chat us up while we try to make a fun video. But in any case, let's get back to our ship. I just wanted to give you kind of a taste of what a hangar could offer and a fleet carrier and all that good stuff. Again, we're going to go through this very quickly, so if you do have additional questions, drop them in the comments and we can direct you to the right information. But overall, I'm really using this as kind of like a quick bite-sized video. Well, it's probably a big bite as I look at the recording time. But the important thing is, I just really want you to get a scope or scale of just how much you can do in Elite Dangerous. So, next thing we're going to do, actually, let's end on combat. We have really good time there. Let's go ahead and let's look for a planet that we can land on. So we're going to filter. Looks like we've got one locked on our destination. Let's get out of here, and we're going to head to that planet now. I haven't really scanned this system, so I don't know enough about it, which is really exciting. It means we're going to be exploring this place together. All right. Let's go ahead and get away from this fleet carrier, and let's head off into the black again. Let's see what's all the way out here. I'm boosting away right now, and that's some other things. While we take our time and get to that planet, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the HUD and what I can do in my ship. Sort of from left to right on the bottom there, you have what my target is, what I'm targeting at this moment, which is that unexplored planet. Let's go ahead and super cruise over to that bad boy. All right, making that jump. You can then see a sort of hollow representation of the planet, which is right there. From there, we have sort of this little circle with the blue dot. That's essentially letting you know its relative position to the front of my cockpit. So if I move down a bit, you can see that circle and that blue circle are sort of representative of what's happening. So you use that to kind of center yourself on your target. Very helpful in combat. You look in the center of the screen here, that's sort of anything that's in our general direction. Think of it as your sonar, your radar. That 31% to the left is the heat of my ship, and that 20.6 C is my speed. I forget the exact thing, but I think it was like light speed and all that jazz. And then you have the bar on the right-hand side, which is just sort of representing my speed again in more of a visual aspect. You can see it sort of goes up and down as I move it around. Then you have the 3 circles with a little spaceship in the center. That is my ship's shield. And the blue, we're at 100%, and then the 100 below that, 100% below that, is my ship's hull, which is always super good to know. Let's go ahead and make sure we locked in so I don't miss this as I'm talking to you. Then you have those 3 things: Sys, Eng, WEP, and RST. That's my systems, all power to shields, all power to engines, or all power to weapons. If you've seen Star Trek, you'll kind of get those references. Then you have your fuel gauge, mass lock, landing gear, and fuel scoop. Those are check boxes. If they're checked for mass lock, that means you're stuck in somebody else's gravity and you can't just jump away. If your landing gear is on, it's just letting you know your landing gear is on. And if your cargo scoop is open, your cargo scoop is open. It'll make it hard to do certain things. So that's that fun piece. We can also look to the side. We have all kinds of other menus and navigations, and oh my gosh, there's so much. Do not feel overwhelmed. There is a lot, but it's not that bad. Essentially, this is just telling you about you, the person, the player. You can see your rankings, you can see your balance, like how much you have in your credit. You can then edit the modules of your ship, right? Your ship can be customized with thrusters, shield generators, beam lasers, sensors. It goes on and on and on and on. Really, again, do not feel overwhelmed. Elite Dangerous is a game that is very deep, and it can feel overwhelming at times, but it really, really is a game that once you start to pick it up and you practice a little bit, it's not so bad. I think we made it to this planet. We didn't even pay attention. Oh my goodness. All right, well, why don't we do a little bit of exploring, right? I think we'd all like to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just sort of orbit this planet, and then we're going to start to land on it. Now, you can do this many ways, and you really shouldn't do it the way I'm doing, which is just crash straight into it. But that's okay. I just want to get you there very quickly. So we are going to sort of do a bit of a dive bomb down, and we're going to slow our ship down so we sort of stay in that sweet spot, and we're going to start gliding down to the planet's surface. This is where exobiology comes in. Exploring, looking for guardian parts. I haven't even touched on that. Think of it as an ancient race that used to exist that has stuff that our ships can take advantage of. There's all kinds of customizations here. Alright, so now we're dropping in. We're in what's called glide mode. You kind of see my ship sort of has a sway back and forth as we start to glide down to the surface. We'll continue there. I'm going to start to slow down a little bit so my ship stays in the blue. Nice. We're coming down. You can see we're about 4 kilometers from the surface. We're going to kind of hover here. So we'll continue to kind of go down. And then we'll hover, and now we'll start heading down faster. Perfect. Perfect. All power to engines. Let's get a boost. 3 kilometers, 3.5 kilometers down. What you don't want to do is you do not want to crash on the planet. So it's always good to kind of come at an angle. Take it slow your first few times. Like I said, we're going to probably just go full into this thing and then hope everything goes well. And as I referenced before, this is, again, a lot of information for you, but I think it's fun to share. You can see mass lock is turned on. It's because I'm now stuck in this planet's gravity, so I can't just perform light speed right from. All right, so now I'm going to lower my landing gear, and let's land on this planet. This looks like a nice place to begin. We're going to slow down. Now our landing gear is going to start looking for stuff, and you can do this yourself. Essentially, my radar is now changed. You can see my ship is now scanning the ground. And it's going to say, okay, I found you a good spot. Looks nice and level here. Let's go ahead and set you down on this barren rock. And some of these are very barren. some are not. And that's some of the exciting parts of this game. Cool. So we made it. So we are going to disembark. So I'm going to look down. Oops. Nope, nope, nope. We're going to go ahead and scroll down where I can see information about me and my character. We're going to click disembark. We'll hop off. The other fun thing is you can have rovers. You can have little scarabs, devices, ships that essentially have little like SUVs on them, and you can then run around on the planet. For our purposes, we're just on feet right now. That's okay. And of course, you might want to have your gun out because you never do know what you're going to experience out here. Other players, other things. It's always good to have your weapons ready. Now we're here to explore this planet. So again, lots can be done here. You can even have little jet boosters to try to get over it. I don't think we're going to make it, but that's an option. So there's a whole ground combat situation to this game, and there's stations on the ground, and there's various outposts and stuff along those lines that you can take advantage of. We have great videos of those as well. Yeah, this is another thing you can do. You can jump down, check out your planet, do your thing, pop up, do the mission, and bounce again. There is really no shortage of things to be done when you are out here in the space. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, right, there's fuel for your ship. There is also fuel or energy for your suit. You only have so much oxygen, all those fun pieces. So you need to be mindful of that. You can see as I start to try to use my energy and all those fun things, that matters. And that stuff's very important. Yeah. Again, this is just a taste. There are many, 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 many things you can do when you land on planets, but I did just want to sort of reference there's quite a bit. We are trying to sort of speed run you through all the various things, and I recognize probably getting just a little bit too long. But again, I just really want you to know there's so much you can do in this game, and it's well worth the cost of admission, especially when there's all these sales. Let's go ahead and hop off. Perfect. So now we want to head out of here. So let's raise our landing gear. Let us head out. We're looking for our escape vector. I'm just going to go straight away from the planet. And this kind of gives you an example. As we zoom away, you can see it doesn't look like we're moving, but you can now start to see we are actually moving away from the planet. And I'm just sort of switching when I do this into kind of like a fun photo taking mode. You'll always sort of play in first person. All right, let's get that escape vector and do a massive jump out of here. All right. Now we're heading out. We're going to get into a good portion of space. And let's look for somewhere to get into a fun fight, right? That's what we all want to do. I'm going to open up my galaxy map. Now we're getting into some of the fun pieces that I can do here. So I'm looking for my Pilots Federation. What I'm essentially doing is filtering. I'm sure we've all shopped online before, right? You can filter by price. You can filter by color when you're buying shoes, size. You can do that same thing in this galaxy map. And what I'm looking for is I'm curious about different things that are happening in certain states, right? I'm looking for their state. Imagine I'm looking for a pair of shoes, and I'm looking for a pair of shoes that have a specific size or a specific color, all that good stuff. So I just turned all the things off right now. Now there's just lines telling me there's things here. If I go to my map again, what the state I'm looking for is I want to look for war or civil war. That's what we're most curious about. It may not be that close, but we can figure things out. Let's see, are anybody over here? Oh, I see a little dot. It's called Guy. That is hilarious. Let's zoom in a little bit. What do we got going on? Oh. All right, well, it's acting funny. It could be a bug, so let's do Guy. Gotcha. Oh, I was just off by a little bit. They're in war. Perfect. Let's plot a course. And we can get there in 4 jumps. Perfect. Let's go join some war. What do you say? All right. Now you can see my blue dot in the bottom left there. There we go. We're lining it up with us. Let's jump. Let's go get into a little bit of a fight. Let's have some fun. So we're going to make our jump now. And this is where we're traversing the stars. So I glossed over a lot of stuff, and I recognize that. Again, that's the intention, and I'm going to apologize for that every single second in this video, because I really do want you to know that it could feel overwhelming at times, but it really, really isn't. After you get a little bit of practice, make some mistakes, and just sort of stay with it. There's so much you can do in this game, and I am just jumping over so much of it just to kind of give you a taste as we sort of travel the space. And you're seeing the different suns. and the quasars and the black holes and all the other stuff in our solar system. It makes this game so worth it to be able to explore things. Have you ever heard of Alpha Centauri? If you've ever taken an astronomy class, you probably have. You can go there. Do you want to go look at Mars? You can do that. Do you want to try to catch up with the various probes we've sent out? You can do that as well. Like everything that we've done as a species is sort of available in this game, and some of these things I don't want to kind of give away. But if you've heard of Voyager, you can catch up with Voyager and you can go see it. I just think that's so cool. So yeah, it's quite a game, and if you give it the time, it's going to give you back so much more in rewards. So we're almost there. We're making our couple little jumps. We can see we only have 2 jumps left, which is fantastic. And again, these jumps, all this stuff, it does really depend on the ship and what you've built. Like I referenced before, you can build your own ship. And maybe that's how we should end this video, is we land at a station and we basically show how you can edit and you can customize and you can tweak and do all kinds of cool stuff to your ship and decide its settings. Ooh, I love what the sun is going to look like. Look at that, like a pure white. Ooh, and they're different sizes and they're different pieces so far. We've looked at some pretty basic ones. There's a lot there. I love that this station is called, or this system is called Guy, by the way. Hilarious. I might have to look that up and just understand like why it is that, because that actually strikes me as a name that we as a species probably gave that. And I mean we as in like actually us. So you can see here I'm getting a little too close to the sun, pulling a little bit of an Icarus moment, and my ship is starting to kind of smoke and give me alerts that we're, overheating. So that's really exciting. There's a lot to this simulation, what this game provides. You can even see the condensation on my ship on the sides. It starts to show real damage. All this stuff matters. Alright, I know, I hear you. Hull integrity's bad. Let's put some into ship system so we can start to bring our shields up. It's going to say there's some internal damage. Let's just kind of take a peek and see. We look at our modules. We can see their health on the bottom, on the right-hand side on this fun Excel spreadsheet. Nothing's at 100% anymore. All just a little bit off. That's okay. We will manage. Anyways, let us find somewhere to fight. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to do points of interest and signal sources. There it was. Points of interest. We got some combat zones where people are fighting. There's a high intensity, a medium intensity, and a low. Well, you know what? You only live once. Well, actually, in this game, you can live as many times as you want. Let's go to a high intensity one. Really see what's shaking. All right, so we're gonna head there now. So now I'm gonna fly to this space. The way you can kind of think of this game is there's sort of 3 layers. There is sort of the ground-based stuff, which you're on that space, you're on that planet, you're in that station. That's where you're kind of walking around as your individual, and that's where it's the most detailed. Then you have sort of this middle layer, right? I'm in between. I'm not in that moment right now. I guess there's 4. Let's say there's 4 layers. I forgot they added the ground-based stuff when my layers example first came up. The game didn't used to have ground-based things. There's the ground, right? You can be around and you're there. The next layer up is essentially kind of flying around in these instances, and that's what we're heading to now. When we were at that station flying around it, when we land here, we're in what's called an instance, where all the stuff is kind of happening in high detail. And then there's this sort of 3rd layer, which we're in right now, which think of it the highway, right? I'm on my way to a location. I'm not quite at the galaxy level, but I'm on my way to a location where I can then do stuff and get out of the car or go into combat inside the car. And the final piece is the galactic plane, right? You're jumping from star to star. You're going to do the most in the various instances, and then right here when you basically are on the highway. Kind of think of it as that hero's journey, right? You're always on your way to the next event, but sometimes stuff will attack you while you're on your way to that event. Ooh, this is a cool planet. If I wasn't so confident, I would say, wow, maybe this is like the moon and the Earth, but it's definitely something different. You can scan these things, you can learn about them. There's a lot to be done here. Looks like the conflict zones are really close to this planet. If we wanted to, we could kind of get more details about it. You can scan it, you can look at it, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. From our perspective, we're just going to dive right in. Again, like I said, there is exploration, there is trading, there is combat, there is mining. You can do asteroid mining, and then all the stuff that comes with that. And then every one of those categories has their own things, right? There's combat at the war level. You can fight and pick a side and fight in actual wars with conflicts and big capital ships. There is bounty hunting at the smallest scale, right? Oh my gosh, we haven't even made it here yet. So what's happening right now is somebody is actually attacking us. They've tried to knock us out of slip space. So they saw us on our way to this location and they said, nah, I'm going for you. Now we're too close to this planet. We got out of here. So who was trying to attack us? That was interesting. So some other ship that was flying around that system that we were just in just tried to knock us out. I just pulled out my weapons, but I'm not seeing anybody. Okay, well, let's continue with our demonstration, because that was weird. My stuff. Here we go. Alright, we must be very close to it, though. Yeah, it's right there. But we almost made the jump to that instance, and then... Yep. Are we too close? Okay, fine. So, what happened was... this is sort of silly. We were so close to the combat zone, but at the same time, we were also attacked, or tried to knock out of Super Cruise by somebody else, which caused us to miss our shot. And then, we ended up too close to the planet. Now, let's head back to this guy. We're almost to that conflict zone. I wonder who was attacking us. They probably were just some pirate thinking we had cargo or something and heading to the conflict zone. In any case, we're on our way now. Let's get a little bit closer. And we're going to disengage. And we're just a little bit outside the fight. About 9 kilometers. Alright. Let's boost on over. Let's see if we can see the fight. We're still pretty far away, so we're not seeing a lot of them, but you'll see as we get closer. They're going to start to come up on our radar first. Then we're going to start to see their lasers. Now we're actually seeing the actual fight itself. And you can see they are getting into it. Then we're going to want to pick sides. And then we can pick to fight with them. And this is actually a civil war. I can see they both are in the same group. Woo. Let's slow it down here. Now you have all those targets all around me. This is the dark side of the space. It's like everything is super small. But here's what's cool. You can switch to various views. Turn night vision on. Now I can see all the ships in the dark. And if we start to look around, we can see all kinds of ships fighting here. But for us right now, we haven't picked a side. We haven't chosen who to fight with in this this conflict zone. So they're all just going to be orange to us. They're not an enemy. Let's decide. So do we want to fight with the Gaia Exchange or the Collective? Independent agents. Our reputation with both of them is neutral. I say we go to our contacts here. We can see all the ships that are basically showing up on radar, and they're all pretty much the exact same style. Some bigger boys, some smaller ones. Let's select this one. And I've selected it. Now he's going to show up as like a target. You can do this looking forward and all that jazz. Again, combat is a whole other thing. See this guy right here? Let's go for him. So let's start shooting our lasers at him. Start hitting with our missiles. Now we're in the conflict zone. And I'm going to start shooting at him. He's going to start shooting at me. And now we have red targets and green targets on the radar. Oh, buddy, I see you. We're joining a side. They're happy we're here. Let's put some more power to weapons. So my weapons are all called what's called gimbaled. So they kind of like lead the target a little bit. Target them. You can have missiles. You can have lasers, cannons. We'll cover all that as we sort of end this video. I just want to show you us fighting this one ship. Let's boost over him. He's trying to go after us. Woo! We missed him. It's called like a joust. So now we gotta whip it around. And the ship I'm in is pretty quick, but I'm not really the best of pilots. Alright, let's stay on this guy. You can see his shield on the left-hand side is down. His hull is at 44%. Oh yeah, we're taking him. We're taking him. Oh yeah. Oop, shields up. He's gonna hit us. Oof. But then we put our shields up in time. All right. Let's stay on this guy. Okay. Here we go. We're ripping him up. Woo! All right. We just made 37,000 credits fighting for that one side. Good job. So now you can see it does look like we're starting to turn the tide of the battle in the top right there. We've got more guys coming after us. Let's see, do I have my little co-pilot with me? I don't. Okay, so that's the other thing. You can have co-pilots that are NPCs that'll fight with you. Let's go for this guy next, and then we're going to take off. There we go. So the other thing you can do, instead of just blindly targeting them, you can target certain parts of their ship. Let's go for this guy's power plant. We're essentially going to disable it. Let's see. There you go. Should probably turn night vision off. Everybody looks the same. Oh, I see him. He's on my radar. Sorry, folks. I was distracted. Here we go. We're coming right up on him. He's coming right up on us. There he is. Yep, I see you. And just for fun, I'm going to show you what this looks like with power. There you go. More power to weapons, so we don't overheat. And then things recharge faster. It looks like he's trying to run. I don't want that. Let's stay on him. Ooh, did you escape? He boosted away. He's still out there, though. I can see him on my radar. Oh, buddy. We're going to chase you, and this is going to be our final thing here. It's at 1%. We don't want to give that up. We're catching him. We're catching him a little bit quicker, so that's great. He's 0%. He's going to blow. Got him. Nice. He was worth just a little bit more. Nicely done. Alright, so we help these guys. We don't need to spend all of our time with them. The other thing you can do, just real quickly while I'm here, is you can also deploy, and I'm going to do this myself, because I don't have a co-pilot right now, or an NPC co-pilot. We just received a voucher, too. Must have done something. I'm now in one of the mini fighters for this ship, and this thing is crazy maneuverable. It's very, very, very small. Kind of look around here. You can see my ship's right there. I'm this super tiny guy. So let's tell our ship to sit still. Hold your position. Let's head over to it so I can kind of give you an example of just again, the scale and size of these various ships. We're about 100 meters away. Closer. Yeah, let's get real close to this ship. And stop. That puts it in perspective. There's the fight behind us. There's our little ship that we're in. There's our big ship that we came out of. And your friends can man these things. So if you've got people to play with, you've got options. Oops. All right, I'm going to switch back. We're going to go back to our ship. You could dock yourself. I'm just going to say forget it. All right. Let's put our stuff out. We're looking for a station to kind of turn in our stuff, kind of give you an example of all the stuff you can do, what you can do with your ship. I'm going to go to stations. Perfect. We got all kinds of goodies here. This guy's really close. Yeah, we're going to leave our fighter behind. Sorry, friend. We've only got these people for so much time, so we're going to go quick. Alright, so we're going to go for the Stamford dock. Engage our super cruise, and we're going to be there in no time at all. Then how we're going to end this is I'm going to show you a little bit about ship customization. Now I referenced that different stations have different resources, right? You go to a gas station in like a major highway, they're going to have all kinds of snacks and goodies, and they may even sell motor oil and all that good stuff. You go to one that's up in the mountains, they may have less. So I have no idea what this station's going to have. I can look a little bit. I can click into it. I can see their status. They're operational. No one's attacked them. Everything's good there. I can learn about them. Ooh, this is kind of a cool looking station. So let's move over to them.
It's a pleasure to have you at this Federal Station, Commander.
It's a Federal Station. I work with them all the time, so that's great.
Okay, Commander. proceed to landing
We're going to
pad
dock in this
08.
station.
Assisted docking
And there's many different
initiated.
kinds. There's really big stations, very small stations, and different stations can support certain types of ships and other ones cannot. Think of it like some gas stations can't support large semis. They don't have that kind of fuel. Think of this more as like landing pads. They just don't have room. This is a fairly good sized station. If any station you're flying inside of, it's going to have plenty of room. But there are some that you don't. Much like when we landed on that fleet carrier, we just landed on top of it. So that kind of stuff just depends. Again, it's a rich history of a game, and even this station looks a bit different from the last one we were in, which is always really cool. You can always kind of tell there's similarities, but definitely different things. I don't even know what these things are. Probably has to do with what this station is known for, what their major currency is. Those look like hydroponics. That's super cool. Alright, so we're going to land, and now we're going to finish ourselves off with a couple pieces. So quickly, we can refuel to kind of give you these quick things. Let's go to our hangar.
Landing sequence completed. Deploying ground.
Go to Starport Services as we go down. And now we have some things we can do. First things first is we should go to our contacts. And the reason for that is we just engaged in some combat. Let's check out our administrative combat first. Do we have anything? So we kill anybody that had a fine? We did not. Okay. Now let's go to our combat bond. We did make some kills, and they're at war. Yep, we just made almost 300,000 credits. Fighting for the right side. And then, of course, there's search and rescue missions, and then black market. That's interesting to me. All right. Next, we're going to go to outfitting. And then livery, and then advanced. Actually, we'll do advanced maintenance. This is essentially how you can, like, repair your ship. We didn't get in too much of a scuffle, so everything is fine, but we're all repaired. Let's go to outfitting first. So outfitting, like I said, this is where you customize your ship. And you have many different things. There's hard points, which are like your offensive weapons. There's your utility mounts, which serve many different purposes. For my end, my ship has 4. And I can essentially have shield boosters on it. There are other things you can do. You can have chaff launchers. If you've ever sort of watched a flight game or a flight movie, right? Missiles are being shot at the fighter pilot, and they release little sparklers behind them. That's essentially chaff. It helps knock out missiles. ECMS. Heat sink launchers. So let's say your ship's overheating. Kill warrant scanners. You can attach a scanner to your ship to then scan people to see if there's a bounty out for them. Wake scanners. That's also great for bountying. When people make a jump off to that next location, you can then track where they're going. Shield boosters just boost my shields. Point defense turrets are just turrets on your ship that protect you from being attacked. Manifest scanners, you can see what's inside them. All that good stuff. Hard points. Let's kind of go with the hard points again. And this is where I have my beam lasers that you saw me use. I have 3 beam lasers and multi-cannons. But if we look at other modules, there's burst lasers, cannons, fragmentation, think like shotguns in space, multi-cannons, missiles, mining tools. And throw mines out, plasma accelerators, pulse lasers, railguns, torpedoes. And that's not even the full list. All of these things have other options inside them that can fit like on your ship. All the good stuff. And they all cost different money and have their bonuses and pluses and all that good stuff. From there, you also have your core equipment, right? Your armor, the actual composite of the ship, your power plant, you have thrusters. Your frame shift drive essentially lets you jump from system to system. You need life support, right? And then you can cheap out on it. Let's say your ship gets disabled. You can have life support systems that last for 25 minutes of oxygen or 5 minutes of oxygen, depending on your needs and how risky you want to be. Power distribution, where do you want stuff to go? Sensors, how far out do you want to be able to see? Fuel tanks. All that good stuff. Then you have your optional stuff that really starts to take your game to the next level. Like I said, if you're feeling overwhelmed, it should be the best kind of overwhelmed, that you can do anything in this game. Or you just have so much options. Don't feel like you're getting, well, don't feel like you're boxed in. I just really want to stress there is so much, but you don't have to learn it all at once. Find something you think's fun and try that. And then learn something else. So again, we get to these optional internals. I can put a shield generator on. Fighter hangars, that's for that ship that came out I had. You can just add other hull reinforcement packages. I put a bunch of those on. I just want my hull to be really tanky. Shield cell banks, so if you want to recharge your shield, you can do that. Fuel scoops, so that allows you to essentially scoop the sun for more fuel. So I don't have to carry large amounts of fuel, I just scoop the sun and fill up and keep moving. Advanced docking computer, you saw me go in and out of these stations. Super cruise assist, it lets you drop in and out of locations. Advanced planetary approach suites, that actually comes with everything. And if you have the DLC, that lets you land on planets. Let's go to the top. Let's see what else we can get. Cargo racks. You can have racks on racks on racks. Collector limpets. This is a whole thing with mining and attacking, and you can have little robots that go out and do stuff for you. FSD interdictor. When we were trying to go to that combat location, notice that somebody knocked us out, and we had this mini game where I had to fly away and stuff. This is how you can knock people out of Super Cruise and then get them. Flight assist computers, like I kind of referenced before. There's docking computers, all that good stuff. Fuel scoops, and there's different tiers of that. So you can scoop the sun. Fuel tanks. You just want to have a bunch of fuel because you're going deep into space. That's something you can. Fuel transfer limpets. So you can transfer fuel. You can be a part of the fuel rats where if people get stranded, you can go help them. Hatch breaker limpets. More little robots that'll do stuff for you. They'll break onto an enemy's ship, open their hatch so you can then steal their cargo. Hull reinforcement. Just want your hull to be more reinforced? You can do it. Modules. All the things that you and I are just discussing on this ship that I can have, you can reinforce them. So if they get targeted, like when I targeted that guy's power plant, you can do that. Multi-controller limpets. There's many little robots that do many things. Planetary vehicle hangars. And this is the thing I was talking about before. You can essentially have little cars you can drive on planets with guns and all kinds of cool stuff. Recon, refinery. All this stuff comes in for mining. You can have repair limpets. So if you're out in the deep, deep space and there's no station that can repair you, you can have little robots that'll repair you. Think Astro Droids in Star Wars. Shield cell banks, if you want to boost your shields. Shield generators, like I referenced. Surface scanners for exploration. There really just is no shortage of stuff. And then, of course, once you actually have fighters, you can pick and choose the types of fighters. So you can see here, I have all kinds of different ones, and they all have different sort of pluses and minuses. Some are really fast, some are this, some are that. There's a lot. Let's end on one more thing. You've got your Barbie, now you want a decorator, right? So you go to the library. This is where you can choose the paint. And this is how this game actually generates a little bit of revenue outside of just normal game sales. If you want to have those sort of custom paint jobs, they'll let you do that. So you earn a few, and then of course you can spend some real world money on some pretty silly paints. And if you want to do that, that's great. It does help the development team. They're a very, very small team, but it's something again, none of this game is pay to win. But if you want some cool cosmetics, you can do that. And there's some neat ones. From the glow in the dark and all that good stuff. It's actually been a while since I've looked. They're not really my taste, but if you're finding value and loving them, I'm not going to stop you from enjoying. You can even go into weapon detailing, so your bullets, your lasers look different, or your engine looks different. Voices that sort of control your ship. There's a lot. There is a lot. And this game is so much more as well. Again, I covered a very small portion of it. I do hope you found this video helpful. I'm so sorry that we went nearly an hour. But I really just wanted you to get excited for this game and see that there's so much you can do here. I hope I've at least piqued your interest. And I hope if you have any questions, you'll reach out to myself, ask our channel, check out, there's a fantastic subreddit, there's great socials. It's a really cool game, and any chance I get to get somebody else into it or help them learn about this game, I want to take advantage of that. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you for listening to me rattle on about this thing I'm very passionate about. And I hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great week, great month, great year, all that good stuff. And until next time, take care. And we will see you, hopefully, in the next video. Thanks.